Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wajo on TV. Your invitation to dance. Let's dance. Gentlemen, for our first act of the evening, put your hands together for the revamped Parkhood Entertainment! Let's fucking use it! Get out of your mind! Get out of your mind! Get out of your mind! That shit, get out of your mind! Get out of your mind! Get out of your Not here to play, cause I paved the way. Now them say till them fade away. I don't show up till I get my millions. You know I'm worth it, so pay my millions. Just saying, I don't deserve it. After all, everything I've done and more, don't forget it. I'm the baddest. What a man does, I could do it too and more. Them talks I get to shaka, feeling like I know Kaya. Them they wonder who they my back, who they make me they hot like what time I like we dance. Dance and to kalala when you dance. Boss and to shaka, alele, already that's my money. Pay me what you want it. Bitch better have my money. Pay me what you want it. Bitch better have my mind on to break. I know why the whole club fucking wasted. Every time I drop, I am the only thing I play. Yeah, in a drop top, do 100 y'all immigrant.
Anyway, you let them bust. It is it on time. Anytime when you every day and night you all day. See the way the things they call it. See the way the money file it. Suddenly, every day and night you all day. See the way the things they call it. See the way the money file it. I know them. I hustle for my pay. Every night and every day. Thank God it. I dey thank God it. For his blessings for my pay. Every night and every day. Anytime when you
I wanna leave my footprints on the sands of time. Know there was something that meant something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I'll leave no regrets. Leave something to remember so they won't forget I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I wanna say I lived each day until I die, and know that I meant something in somebody's life. The hearts I have touched will be the proof that I leave, that I made a difference, and this world will see I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I just want them to know that I gave my all, did my best, brought someone some happiness, left this world a little better just because.
Conjure Rafika, yo, let's go.
A new dawn, a new beginning. How I wish I never clocked that year. A year of pain, a year of tears, a year of helpless sound. 7 years. The scar is still fresh in me. But that year brings me sadness. I thought I was innocent, but eyes around me looked at me with disgust. What might be the reason? Well, I never bothered about it until a voice said, "Yes, bring her out." As early as 5 a.m., I stepped out. Before me were many mothers, but my mother was not one of them. I stepped out. I realized that I was not the only one. Song was sung. What is this song all about? I asked myself. Like a flock of sheep, we were headed to a room. Yes, idea of what was going on. Suddenly, I felt a sharp pain between my legs. I screamed! My cries could not be heard. That was when I realized that the song sung by those mothers was to swallow my scream. This was a turning point in my life. The pain I felt can't be described. Ha! I was circumcised. I felt incomplete and completely out of control. I could not control my tears. What will happen after this? Will this pain ever leave my life? Will I be my normal self again? So, the woman part of me had left me. My life took a complete turn. I felt wasted and hopeless. Cock crows. A new dawn. A new beginning. ready to end this life with fear. I was 5 years old when I started to realize that girls are born to be cold, just like a useless device. It is not my right to complain. As a matter of fact, I should withstand all physical and emotional pain. I heard that one of my friends became a hero just because she went under the same procedure that made her so. I knew my day would come anyways. It was never an option. It was compulsory. I had to bite my lips, hold back the tears in my eyes, because if I cried, they would inform other kids that I was a coward, and I would never go a step forward. The pain and I grew up together. We never stopped seeking for something to separate us. We never ever gave up. But people still wanted to hurt me. They taught me that my life doesn't belong to me. Now, I feel that there is nothing hurtful. I am used to everything, even if it's horrible. I remembered I had urine retention and I needed a medical attention. But first, they wanted permission from those who never changed their vision. And they call it tradition. To cut me up, to leave me with no choice but to give up. I guess they never cared about my emotion. Or they would empathize knowing the sensation inside me was a tremendous commotion. I was lost in an invincible and painful ocean. I am a girl, like any other girl. But this is the only nightmare. Looking forward to that golden age, when it will all vanish. Can't wait for you, golden age, to come and end this rage.
going to feel up. What come up from your house? And then you do this, you don't be shaking money. I go, if I don't do, you go feel up. You be wood. Come on, you never be check body. You never be check body. You never be check body. I'm not going to come up.
Mama, mama, the waiting I do you. Papa, papa, the waiting I do you. And mama, make una help me ask mama. The waiting I do. Make una help me ask papa. Oh, waiting I do. Them say na woman cleansing now. Which kind woman cleansing be this? Tie me up, bind my mouth, speed the blade, they cut me up. Waiting I do you, Papa, Papa. Waiting I do you, and Mama. Àṣà bàbá mi, àṣà ìyá mi, àṣà wa, àṣà abẹ́ dídá. Ó bà mí lẹ́rù, ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní ara ẹwà arẹwà ni. Wípé ayọ̀ abiyamọ ni. Àṣà wa, àṣà abẹ́ dídá. Ṣé o wá pa mí lẹ́rìn tàbí o wá pa mí lẹ́kún? Ṣé o wá múnú mi dùn tàbí o wá bà mí nínú jẹ́? Ṣé mo lè gbójúlé ọ? Ṣé mo lè fẹ̀yìntì ọ? Ara dára, ó kù aṣọ. Obìnrin dára, ó kù ẹwà. Àṣà wa, àṣà abẹ́ dídá. Mi ò lè gbé ọ. Mi ò lè gbé ọ rárá. Tí n bá lè gbé ọ, n bá ti gbé ọ. Àṣà wa, àṣà abẹ́ dídá. Aago ìrora ìbáré kọjá. Ìwọ àpàdé ìrora nínú igbá. Eré gbangba wá di ohun àhámọ́kọ̀rọ̀ ṣe. Ìbẹ̀rù bójò jẹ́ ń lè bóde ṣeré. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ohùn ló ń pariwo. Dúró níyẹ̀wù. Àṣà wa, àṣà abẹ́ dídá. Tèmi tìrẹ lájọ ń ṣe. Àmọ́ ìgbà yí padà ọ̀sán dòru. Ògiri ọ̀run yẹ̀, ó wó lu kọ́ọ̀kùn àyà mi. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣàn bí odò, ó di ohun ilẹ̀ fàmú bí omi. Àṣà wa, àṣà abẹ́ dídá. Ó dìgbà ó ṣe, ó wá di orin à ń kọ jáde. Ó di àfihẹ́yìn aṣọ eégún. Afẹ́fẹ́ tuntun fẹ́. Ọjọ́ àná yọ́kẹ́lẹ́ wọlé bí olè. Ọjọ́ sá lọ bí alọ́kó lóhun kígbe. Àṣà wa, àṣà abẹ́ dídá. Ìdí pàtàkì tí mo fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Kí n lè máa bá ṣèrántí rẹ. Ó dìgbà o. Mama, mama, waiting I do you. Mama, mama, waiting I do you. And mama. and look again. What do you see? A fragile, comely, adorning vase? One to be cherished, to be pampered, lest it shatters? Does my light shine in your eyes? Does it make you blind to beauty? Please, look very well. Do you see a mere pot in whose bosom roses blossom? One burdened with life-sustaining liquor to be emptied and broken. Oh, a fruit to suck, chew, and discarded down a damp bowel? Please, what do you see? Never mind what you see. I shall tell you what I see. I shall tell you why I fight. I shall tell you how you hit. I shall tell you how it hurts. Here before you, beaten but not broken, is a wayfaring, wandering wanderer just like you. You who think you figured it all out. Let me take it from the top. This head on which you speak hosts a walking, thinking faculty, sharp enough to cut into shreds. Ask those who came before those who came before you, if you doubt me. My eyes, watery, dry, white, red and brown. Seize your strength and your frailty. Seize your fear and your folly. It controls you. My ears, they hear your groan and your ground. They hear you in public and in private places. My nose can smell you out. Your every breath within my body. My mouth. You love those luscious lips, don't you? You love them, especially when locked like a trapped mouse within them. When they embrace you and my tongue titillates you, you mourn and make promises. Promises you make to break. My head sits regularly on the fulcrum. Without me, you are anywhere belle-faced. And now my chest, my strength and weakness. In there lies my heart, the one you love to break. My weather-beaten, marsh-hardened heart. How you love that region of my anatomy. From childhood till old age. You drew with lust in your eyes. When you behold my melon, your claim to win is a charade. You like to suckle at any age. When I look at my grandma, I see your landmark. My womb, your home for 9 months, caught inside of me. You get your food and warmth from me. You change the way I look, walk, talk, drink, and eat. All this you do till the very day you come out of me. Now, to the mid-region. The olive box. Your route to hell or head. This is where you come from. This is where you love to visit when turgid or stiff, when filled to the brim. This is where you love to come. You groan, grunt, heave, and give. But dare I do that? Dare I show what I feel? My pleasure or pain are mine alone. Should I display it, then it becomes the head of a cat on display. So you cut me to shred to bar me from the ecstasy of the bed. The offspring of fire is sent to fire. The mothers, our mothers, fed our mothers this sour broth, just like the mothers of our mothers served our mothers' mothers, gave them the ladder to serve us too. And like the mothers before the mothers of our mothers' mothers, this serenely to our birth, we shall eat without a blink, and even serve our female children. So as to take away a piece of me. Know you now that you take away my peace. You who let it go on without a question. You who merely do it because they did it. You who cut my tongue to deny me the pleasure of taste.
Exclusive from YabaLeftOnline.com.
It's Young John, the producer.
Hey, I'm all of it, love it. Hey, I'm all of it, love it. No good information, measure. The new radio, the new telly. Only Elfa, Elfa, Talova, Baba, Talova, Baba, Talova, Baba. With the look bad to get this money today, but every night and day. With the look bad you see road only, they will not get them all. Oh yeah, Shakiti Bobo, over a Bentley Bobo, over a Ferrari Bobo, fly you to Paris Bobo. Oh yeah, Shakiti Bobo, over a Bentley Bobo, over a Ferrari Bobo, fly you to Paris Bobo. Oh, need that fool, I want scrap for you.
Hello, I am not behind this particular production. Shegun Adefila is the person behind this particular production. Where is Shegun? This was planned, and I never knew they would do this stuff. But to God be the glory. I just want to say thank you to everybody. I'm a dance artist, and I'm enjoying being a dance artist for 28 years. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you have fun tonight? Once more, let us celebrate Ejo D. Let's go. Don't forget to follow us, Wajolagos. Follow us on Twitter at Wajolagos. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you and have a good evening. DJ!
Boy, kiss daddy. I know I'm crazy, but this is all I fuck you. Fuck you, baby. In a power, me see you. Girl, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. Hey, turn around, my baby. See you ever. Everything I give to you, girl, I don't want it back. Say I'm ready to be yours forever. No, I know that. Say that you are the girl that can't take me away.
Dance, I would say, is my fulfillment. Dance is the only way I see myself being myself. Dance is me. Dance is my calling. Dance is what I was born to do.
Hi, my name is Ukalina Selino Puari. I'm the winner of Multina Dancehall 2008, which is season 2, and I'm also currently the head of the head of a dance academy, Society for the Performing Arts in Nigeria. I've been dancing since I was quite young, and I'd say close to 20 years. But professionally, I started out in 2008. Why? Because that was when I started my professional training. After I won Multina, one of the judges, Penny Mohammed, she just fell in love with me. Like, you know, she was like, you have so much. I want you to come to Span to train. And when I walked into the place, what I understood about Span is just the place I've always dreamt of being part of. I've always dreamt of being part of a dance school where they train people and people get trained and you can achieve your dream in dance. In Span, I learned I learned how to do lots of things I never knew. And I became the person I have always dreamt of being. I had so many best moments, but one of the most intriguing part of my life, first of all, is when I won Multina Dancehall, because I didn't believe it. I was crying. I was amazed. I can relive that moment like over and over again. Secondly, was when I finished my certification. I'm among the few people to be certified in Latin and Ballroom in Nigeria. And to be precise, the first lady. What else? When I was proposed to in Las Vegas, I didn't believe it. I wasn't expecting it. One of my best moments, really. I have different mentors and I have a whole lot of them. First of all, my mentor, the one who started out by training me, Cyril Wonsa, Ipalibo Braid. There are many. Ice has always been there. We've been dancing way back from Port Harcourt. Budi, there's Lovette Otegbola, Mrs. Sarah Bulos, Joanna Lunis. Oh my God, I want to dance like that lady. I love Karina Smirnoff. I love Yulia. One of them also is Kafi. Most of all, my mom. I love her. She's been the one who, like, you know, brought me up to believe in my dreams.
I will never win this game without you, without you. I am lost, I am vain. I will never be the same without you,
Hi, it's your boy Big Flo, and you are watching Wajo on TV.
I'm loving the experience. I'm wishing that in this beautiful venue, Freedom, under the skies, under the heavens with God, and we're having this on a Thursday, rather than sitting down in traffic, man, it's something else.
I'm really moved because I see the unity between the dancers and how they love each other. I think it's beautiful. I think life needs more of this. People united, people who speak to each other, people who dance for a cause.
Joe is just the first of its kind and going to be the best of its kind, as far as I'm concerned.
Wonderful, fantastic. In fact, I'm short of words. Awesome.
you're welcome to Wajo. As you know, Wajo is your invitation to dance.
I can be a freak. I can be a freak. I can be a freak. I can be a freak.
This place is on point. Like, this is home for us back here in Africa, in Nigeria, in Lagos. This is like home for us, and I must applaud. Wajo on point, man. I never knew it was this big.
I've never been to any dance platform where, you know, dancers are actually viewed in this great way.
I've actually been invited on several occasions, but I made it an exception since it's like the 12th month. Despite the rain and everything, they did not fall my hand. Like, seriously, it's on point.
I'm loving the experience. I'm wishing that in this beautiful venue, Freedom, under the skies, under the heavens with God, and we're having this on a Thursday, rather than sitting down in traffic. Man, it's something else.
I think it's beautiful. I think life needs more of this. People united, people who speak to each other, people who dance for a cause.
Wajo is designed for dancers. It is about dance. It promotes dance. It gives dancers a platform for expression.
I love dance. I feel dance is an expression of oneself, and that's what we see here almost every last Thursday of the month. So that's why I keep coming.
Wajo for me is fantastic. Seeing young people express themselves in this manner, and it's something I wish it can be done consistently everywhere, not only in this place.
Wajo brings together families, it brings together organizations. Wajo brings together individuals from all walks of life. Wajo holds no bounds. It brings everybody together on one stage, presenting different dance genres.
I can be a freak. 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 I can be a freak every day of every week.
Pop, pop, bang.
I think dance is an expression of what you have deep inside your heart. I see it as a way to express your feelings, express your emotions, express your hate, express your anger. I think it's just another way of communicating. And so I see it not just people moving their bodies, but people also coming together to pass across a message. That's what dance to me is all about.
I've been dancing since '97 and I've worked with some like Kafi, the dance queen. I've worked with Mehdi, I've worked with Two-Face, I've worked with D'banj, I've worked with Tony Tones, I've worked with Dara Atalade. Wajo! Wajo! Okay, I'm going to say this again. I said the first time I was there at Wajo. If you're a dancer, you're a choreographer, and you have not been at Wajo, it is home. I was at home when the first time I set my foot on Wajo, and my performance, it was like nobody has ever seen me dance before. The crowd was on fire. You know, it was fun. It was like I was not having fun. It was just like normal rehearsals when you're dancing and your friends are cheering like, man, go, go, go. It was fun and I enjoyed every part of it. Right now I'm working on a lot of projects, but my best, or rather the peak of my project right now is called the DNA, the Dance Neuron Anomalies. We are all dancers, yes, but not everybody's a DNA. Some people are born to dance, some people train to dance. Now I categorize myself, or I belong to the category of those who were born to dance. But just know you heard DNA first on Wajo. Last episode of Wajo, which was where I, my humble self, was present. And one bros stood up and proposed. Ha! You know, it was a very wonderful experience because I actually took some pictures of that moment. It was special because it was my first time at Wajo, and I think it was the first time anybody's getting hooked on Wajo. So I think that was my best moment. I think one of my dreams is to see dancers being respected, is to see dancers being given the rights that they truly deserve, is to see dancers treating themselves as they are supposed to treat themselves, respect themselves and respect one another. As regards dance and the art of dance, I think I would give this honor to one person, Mr. Dayo Olujeku. Dayo Olujeku didn't teach me how to dance. He taught me the essence of dance. He taught me the reason why I do what I do, and I don't understand why I did them, because that was how dance started for me.
You love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning, 'cause I give you.
Hi, I'm Ukalina Selling Opuari, a dancer, Tobad, and you're watching Wajo on TV.
Wajo is just the first of its kind and it's going to be the best of its kind.
I've been coming to Wajo since it started. It's been a great experience. Wajo is just, I think it's a place everybody should be at the end of every month.
You need to come and see what people are doing with their bodies. I must say it's been breathtaking. Like there are sometimes I had to hold my breath because some of the moves are just like what? It's been wonderful.
My experience in Wajo so far has been wonderful because I actually like the idea of Wajo because it gives you the platform of bringing yourself out, letting people know what to do, and we always care about respecting the dancer. It's a way of letting them know dancing is just not a side thing that we do, it's a professional thing, and they just get to respect us, they have to respect us as dancers.
I think it's a beautiful idea, and the turnout for the very first time is really, really good.
Pandemonium, take the piss and no shit, my guy. Now we on the boat with my guys. LG phones, they go flip, my guys. Senorita, it's nice to meet ya. I'd like for you to come meet my guys. The first to see is called Captain Mo. Drop your number, stop acting slow.
I've been coming to Wajo since it started.
We hold last Thursday of every month. It's very easy. You come in, you hang out, you relax, you have fun.
I am so impressed.
It's incredible that we have this kind of talent in the country.
Wajo is a great initiative. I see that's my small home.
Juanita, Juanita.
It's interesting. I'm feeling at home. All that is being done is not obscene.
You can never see somebody dancing who is upset. So if you can dance, it will bring you out of your sadness. And that's why I love Wajo.
I love Wajo because it gives a platform for everybody to come around for free to enjoy what dance could be in Nigeria and portrays the biggest talents that we have in the country.
I also love the fact that they're trying to get people and young people off the streets so they can do something creative and something with their talent, which is amazing.
Last episode of Wajo, one bros stood up and proposed. That moment was special.
Double side step. Forward and backwards basic. Back basic.
Mambo number 5.
Dance is said to be a movement of the body to rhythmic sound. So Wajo itself defines the dance itself.
This is Wajo Dance Industry Night. It is breathtaking.
Wajo has been able to give platform to upcoming artists and even established artists. So kudos to Wajo for being around for many years.
Of Lord of the Stage 2016. Keep watching Wajo on TV.
I've had a very wonderful experience here today. It's been fun and I don't really want to go.
I call calls. We in it's going down. Yeah, the kid that with my motherfucker crowd. I'm a Iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò sẹ́ni tó iṣẹ́ Olúwa jù tàbá lọ. Lọ́lọ́run ọba fi gbé wa ga. Lọ́lọ́run ọba fi gbé wa ga o. Lẹ́bí ń bínú, lẹ́bí ń pẹ̀gàn o.
Musiliu Babatunde, president fáwọn alápàlà kárí Naija pátápátá. Báńkò lórí bólórí ń jẹ́ olórí kọ̀ọ̀kan gbọ́dọ̀ fọ́hùn torí pé olórí jọ lórí lọ. Báńkò lórí bólórí ń jẹ́ olórí kọ̀ọ̀kan gbọ́dọ̀ fọ́hùn torí pé olórí jọ lórí lọ. Musiliu Ìṣọ̀lá láṣíwájú yín níbi kákọrin àpàlà tó fọgbọ́n yọ o. Ẹ lọ mẹ́sọ̀nù yín gbogbo yín o, ẹ lọ gbẹ́nu dákẹ́. Bátúndé Ìṣọ̀lá o, ọmọ Egúngún Jọbí. Bórin bá dùn bí òdùn ẹni gbọ̀n wò lómi awí. Àwa ni bàbá ẹyẹ máa ṣàgídí. Bórin bá dùn bí òdùn ẹni gbọ̀n wò lómi awí. Àwa ni bàbá ẹyẹ máa ṣàgídí. Kákọrin kódà Ìṣọ̀lá láṣíwájú. Orin tó fọgbọ́n yọ Ìṣọ̀lá láṣíwájú. Orin gidi Ìṣọ̀lá láṣíwájú. Musiliu ọmọ Egúngún Jọbí. Mo ti wá rí fáyé kí n tó ti lé wá, mo ti ṣèbà lọ́dọ̀ wọn àgbà o. Ẹ̀yin àgbà ẹ jẹ́ ojú wa ṣe. Ẹ̀yin àgbà o, òye ẹ̀yin àgbà tẹ́ bá rí pé àṣẹyìn. Ẹ má rojọ́ wá síbi tó ṣòro, ọmọ yín la jẹ́ ọgbọ́n òde nìkan. Ọmọ yín la jẹ́ ọgbọ́n òde bì kan. Ọmọ yín la jẹ́ ọgbọ́n òde bì kan. Ẹ̀yin àgbà o, òye ẹ̀yin àgbà tẹ́ bá rí pé àṣẹyìn. Ẹ má rojọ́ wá síbi tó ṣòro, ọmọ yín la jẹ́ ọgbọ́n òde nìkan. Gàtíkúlé àti tẹ̀bà sínú ṣáàgó máa já o. Ọ̀gbẹ̀rì tó máa jẹ́ máa ní nǹkan. Egún Jọbí Ìṣọ̀lá o, iyì tó bá ń lù àfún ẹ kò ní parẹ́ láyé. Ẹ ṣàmì kí n gbọ́. Egún Jọbí Ìṣọ̀lá o, iyì tó bá ń lù àfún ẹ kò ní parẹ́ láyé. Ẹ ṣàmì kí n gbọ́. Ọ̀tá kan ń bínú lásán, wọn ò lè rọ́nà gbé gbà. Ọba tó ṣe ní bọ̀ wá ṣọlá, a ò ní dàkó bàtà láwùjọ olórin. Kí ni bàjẹ́ gbàgbé bàbá mi Ìṣọ̀lá Haruna Bello ọmọ Egúngún Jọbí. Haruna bàbá ń ga ní àgbà tó dolóògbé lọ́jọ́ ń sí. Ọ̀run rẹ̀ o bàbá. Ikú ìbá gbowó àbá fún lówó. Ikú ìbá gbẹ̀rọ àbára gbowó. Ikú ìbá gbowó àbá fún lówó. Ikú ìbá gbẹ̀rọ àbára gbowó. Nítorí ìtani nítorí ìtani Àjì Arúbẹ̀ ló tó dolóògbé o. Ikú náà ló pa Ẹ̀sàká Ọmọláwálé bàbá wa yìí. ọ̀túnba òye wọlé fàṣàwẹ̀ ń kú lédè màmá rẹ̀ ṣe mrs lydia ìjàmúlà yẹmi arótí bàbá ṣàwẹ̀ dé òdọ́rùn ṣọ̀run rẹ̀ màmá wá. wọ́n ti ń sìnkú èyí tí mo ti ń rí tòkú màmá ọ̀túnba òye wọlé fàṣàwẹ̀ o. àkọ́kọ́ ló jẹ́ ọ̀run rere fún màmá wa lydia. àkọ́kọ́ ló jẹ́ ọ̀run rere fún màmá wa lydia. abiyamọ tí kì í fòwúrọ̀ ṣeré olúwa gbé sínú abẹ́fẹ́ rẹ̀ nínú ìmọ̀lẹ̀ ní kómi agbé olúwa fọ̀run kẹ́wọ́n o. àwọn èèyàn jankan-jankan ni wọ́n fọwọ́ gbé gẹ̀gẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ yẹn títí lọ́dọ́rí tẹ́ bíi pẹ́sidẹ̀ntì ọbásanjọ́ vice president àtìkù àyìndé ọmọ bádéró gbogbo fàdákà lápapọ̀ ẹ ṣe ẹkú ìnáwó ọjọ́ òye wọlé babadé nìkẹ́ bàbá ẹniọlá bàbá ganiyatu bàbá ibrahim mi ọkọ̀ dúpẹ́ ọkọ̀ yẹmísí ọkọ̀ fọláṣadé bàbá fàṣọ kékeré ẹkú ìnáwó ọjọ́ yẹn ọ̀túnba òye wọlé. màmá wa lydia wẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ o wẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ o bọ́mọ̀dún bí odùn bọ́mọ̀dún bí odùn ẹkún gbé kí n gbọ́. wẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ o wẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ o bọ́mọ̀dún bí odùn òkú oní ìfọ́sí aṣọ́gbọ́n ọdún òkú oní pàkìtì aṣọ́gbọ́n oṣù òkú ọlọ́mọ àṣìṣì dán. wẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ o bọ́mọ̀dún bí odùn. ikú náà ló pa Gbẹ̀ngà Adébóyè. ọ̀rọ̀ náà rè ó ikú àpẹ ni à ń pè ikú àpẹ ni tó ń pè ní. gbẹ̀ngbẹ̀ tí ẹ lè Gbẹ̀ngà Adébóyè bí ó dárún ṣọ̀run rè. ẹkùn ọkọ lára gbogbo rédíò presenters pátápátá ẹ kú lédè ẹni rè tó kú. òṣìṣẹ́ tẹlifíṣọ̀n gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ ní tíátà gbogbo ìsọ̀wọ́ olórin ẹ kú lédè Gbẹ̀ngà Adébóyè tó lólógbé. aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed ọmọ Tinubu jẹun sókè kó tún jẹun sápò ẹ kú àdó ti ọjọ́. ẹ jẹ́ ká rántí ikú nínú gbogbo ń tabárò lọ́kàn. ẹ jẹ́ ká rántí ikú nínú gbogbo ń tabárò lọ́kàn. ọjọ́ kan ń bẹ tẹnu ọkọ̀ jíjẹ. ọjọ́ kan ń bẹ tẹnu ọkọ̀ mímu tàtẹlẹsẹ̀ ọ̀nà tá a pa òní kò ní dìde. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ti kú rí erin ṣubú kò lè dìde erin ṣubú kò lè dìde. Gbẹ̀ngà lọ Adébóyè rẹ̀ bí àgbà rẹ̀.
Every dancer that is trying to move up should put up a dance video every week on social media.
As a dancer, as an artist, first see yourself as a business person, as a brand. To be a brand, that means an entrepreneur. So you have to think like you're a business person.
Creative people have suffered because they are focused obsessively on the craft and not the business.
It started December 2003. But actually it started with an order in May 2003. Then the connection between May 2003, which was a spiritual connection, it was basically an order from a lady from South Africa at my Bible study who said, "You've got to dance for the Lord." And I looked at her and I thought she was crazy. So it started like that, very simple. And then I had my best friend from South Africa. I don't know where they are all from South Africa, but anyway, it was very interesting. Tanya gave me a book called The Purposeful Driven Life. So all these things were confusing in my head. I just knew my background is biology and chemistry. I have an MPH in public health. My dream was to become a doctor without borders and help and be in Africa, in Burkina Faso, where I was born, because I'm born in Africa, and by the way, in case you didn't know, in Ouagadougou. And so I was born there, and when I went to Bobo Dioulasso at the age of 14, there was something very interesting. I heard the drums. So by that time, I knew that I would come back to Africa to help. And the best way to help was to be a doctor. So I studied biology, medicine, everything that I wanted to do. And then I fainted in the first operation, and I knew it was not my calling. So I served at the United Nations. I served at the Red Cross. I served with a missionary group at the age of 16. I did a lot of things to try to put myself in that field. But at the end of the day, God, Lord and behold, would have another way for me. So when I came to Nigeria, basically we were transported to Nigeria by my dad with SCOA. We met a big bag with a snake inside. So I had to work as the director of logistics near the Kirikiri prison. And I worked with 1,500 employees in an assembly plant. And I was clearing about 500 containers. So I'm a director of logistics, so I can clear any containers in Lagos. That's my forte. So during that time, I had no idea. It's only in 2003 that this happened. When it happened, I was kind of like wondering, because I had started my journey with Christ. At the age of 30 to 33, I had started a journey, a rededicated journey, because I was born a Christian. So whatever happened was like, how do you transform your life and follow Christ? So when this happened, I wanted to make him smile. And then I was reading that book of Rick Warren, and when I read that book, he told me loud and clear, he showed me a vision with a building. The building had 5 sides, like the Pentagon of the United States. And the building had music, dance, and drama. So I went back to my Bible study, asked, what is this? And they said, this is performing arts. So I'm supposed to build a performing arts school. That was it. So it came with a vision. My dream came with a vision. My startup came with a vision. I don't think I would have been able to rocket myself into that field, especially I didn't know one Nigerian. So basically, during that journey, I just prayed. And in December 2003, I've gotten a friend of mine who's telling me, Sarah, you're tiring me of this story of David, because I was studying the story of David. I found out that David danced before the Lord. And he said, let me send you, you need a party with singers. Let me send you those people. So on Christmas, 8th of December 2003, the guy shows up. His name is Deji. And I tell him, okay, so what are you going to sing when it's Christmas carol? The guy looks at me and said, Madame, we don't sing. I said, what do you do? He says, we dance. I said, you dance? Okay, you dance. So I'm not looking for dancers. I'm looking for singers. Madame, we are very special. We dance for the Lord. And we are called Spirit of David. So when he said that, then I knew that what I had prayed for was being answered. So I called the guy who was in charge. I told him, I sat with him and I said, when I come back, we'll sit together and see what's the vision. Maybe I'm supposed to build your club. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to raise the building for you. I have no idea. Anyway, Christmas came and I buried 7 members of my family on Christmas Day in a plane crash. So 2 people died of asphyxiation of the tree, the Christmas tree. They left the candle on the Christmas tree. They died. And within 24 hours, I had my mother, my brother, my uncle, the cousin of my uncle, everybody going to take the Cotonou plane to go to the funeral in Lebanon. And it crashed. So when I buried my brother, 26-year-old, and everybody, there was a point of no return. I had to do something about my life. Either I would crash or I would raise up. And that's what I did. So within a year, I founded the Society for the Performing Arts in Nigeria. Within a year, it was very fast. It was very energetic. I had the Spirit of David, the Small World Ladies, international community coming together, and we did the first dance competition in Nigeria, Christian, Gospel, Look God, Here I Am. Who won? The Indian won. First prize. And it was amazing because they did their thing. And then we had Holy Child College who won. And today one of the girls is studying performing arts in America. So we had the first success story. And we are here now 11 years down the road. I went through a lot. I have come to distrust the performing art community. I have come to build shields around myself because my own students, the very people that I raised, are people who have betrayed me personally. The people that have eaten in my house, the people that I've sheltered, the people that I've given rent out of my own mother's money that died. I've given them rentals. I've given them for them to have a family. They betrayed me. So I've learned how to grow out of this. Because once you take a path of sacrificial path, of giving, of donating of your time, you are not serving man, you're serving God. But you're going to be hit with man. And man is going to hit you, that's for sure. So in the performing art, you have people who betray. You have people who tell you the truth and behind your back talk about you. You have people who carry on a certain flame, saying that they are Christian or they have Jesus in their light, and the light is not there. You've got to build up your own life. It's a journey that is very lonely. The only time I didn't break up, I went down, I came back up, I went down and came back up, was because I served a bigger God than myself. So today, I can say that we have achieved a lot. We've raised over 600 students. I've graduated, opened dance studios. They're all famous. You can see them. So we have become a name with an endorsement house. That's what we have become today. The dream to build a performing arts center, I have realized recently, will not effect itself until the people are built up. I am not going to have a national theater dead as a SPAN performing arts center. So my goal is to try as much as I can to continue raising the right people in what I do, to still sacrifice, but be aware who's stepping on my foothold.
My name is Kudus Onikeku. I am a dancer. I'm a choreographer. I write sometimes. And I'm the artistic director and the founder of YK Project in Paris and the Q Dance Center in Lagos. My journey as an artist started from my own memory, started at the age of 5. I was in a primary school, Atara Primary School in Surulere, Aguda. And I was in primary 2 or 3, I think. Then I saw somebody did a flip, an acrobat. It was an inter sport. So the guy was not even from my school. It was from another school. We just did this thing. And it was like a flash. It's not the first time I saw somebody did acrobatics. I've seen better ones on Olympics, on TV. But I thought that was the first time I saw something in my own space of truth, in my own space of reality. And I felt like if this guy can do it, I can do it. Then I started all by myself learning how to flip. And because the only thing I saw was a flip, so I didn't imagine there was anything else. So I was just accumulating flips. So when I was able to do 1, then I started doing 2, then 4, then 20, then 30, then 50. Then at some point, I don't even know how much I can do until I see a wall, then I stop. So I was just doing that. It is the kind of a trance. When I start, I don't even stop until I see a wall. But of course, at home, they weren't finding it funny. Like, you will kill yourself, you this boy. So I was being constrained and restrained from doing it. Then anytime they want to send somebody to go buy something, I come from a relatively closed door kind of family. You know, I'm not that much street, you know what I mean? So for you to go to the street, there must be a reason. So when they want to send somebody to go buy sugar or anything, or Go-Go or M&K or whatever, I'll say, I can help you. I was helping everybody to go buy everything. But of course, I know that's the only time I had free time to flip. I flip all the way to buy the stuff. Then I flip all the way back. Then I was like, okay, fine. I've had my dose of flip today. Then somebody will come and say, I saw your son. He was flipping all over the street. Then I'll get a beating again. Then I'm like, okay. So I was doing that. I was having so much fun. For me, I thought that was the first time I was able to do something of my own self. I was able to express something of myself. And I had so much enjoyment doing that. And I was feeling the flow every time I do that. And so I was doing that until I was like in secondary school. So I left primary school, I was like 9 or 10. Then in the high school, I realized that, wow, so there are more crazy people around. I thought I was the only one. So I saw people who were doing all sort of mad stuffs, like, I don't know, Jackie Chan, whatever. There were so much names. There were so much names for it then. So in high school, I went to a school in Surulere as well. It's called the Digiframetv Boys Secondary School. It was all boys, very rough. We didn't care. There was no girls to form for. So we're just all out. Then I remember that with the remaining guys, what we do is like, each time we come back, we want to do something that every other person cannot do. So that was actually the way we were training ourselves. So you want to do something that nobody can do, then we were taking so much risk and doing more stuff. So at the age of 13, when I was in SS1, I remember that the people from the seniors from the cultural and dramatic club that came to my class and said, you know what, we are looking for dancers to be part of the production. It didn't mean anything to me. Even though I've been dancing since I was, even before acrobatics, I've been going to parties and collecting all the gifts. I could watch Michael Jackson and reproduce everything. I could watch Blackie. I remember Blackie very much then. He was a dancing guy. And Blackie, I would reproduce everything Blackie was doing on TV. Just by watching TV, I could do a lot of stuff. But for me, dance was for females, was for girls. It wasn't my thing. But the moment the guy said, you know what, we are also looking for acrobats because the production we are doing is titled Ogbori Elemosho, and in Elemosho was actually was a real flipper. You know, this guy was flipping everywhere in that film. So that was what they wanted to do. So they were looking for acrobats as well. So I said, okay, if it was about acrobatics, I'll come. But if it was for dance, count me out. Then I went. I was 13, and I realized that in a very short time, I had so much interest in dance. In a very short time, I became the dance captain of the club. In a very short time, I became the lead of the troupe. So that gave me a lot of pressure. What that means is that I will sneak out of school or go to NCAC, National Theatre. I'm talking about 1999, 1998, where you go to NCAC and you're like, wow. The energy, the Ijodis at that time, they were young, they're just like my age, so much energy, the Victor Fulus, the Abel, even Zulezu, they were all dancers there and small, but the energy from one company to another, but you have like almost like 10 companies rehearsing at the same time. So what I do then was that I will go there and I'll watch. I'll watch. Then the following day, I go to school, I'll reproduce everything for my guys. And the following day, we are going to a dance competition and we're winning. And he was like, "This is where you getting all these ideas." I don't worry. You cannot understand. So I already understood the path of researching and of trying to make oneself better. And all the troops I was joining at that time, the moment, in a very short time, I'm going to get to the top. And the moment I realize that I'm being referenced as anything, I run away. I go to another troop. Then when I realize that I'm being referenced, I run away. So I've always been trying to run away from success. Let's call it that. Because I didn't consider it as success. Where I was aiming is so far and so high that when people start seeing that, oh, but you're arriving, I said, no, we've not even started. Like, this is not where the dream is. So at the age of 16, I left high school. I was a science student from 13 to 16. But if you ask me whatever I remember from my science class, I was a very good dancer. That's the only thing I can tell you. I don't even know how I passed my exams from SS1 to SS3. However, I was a brilliant guy. I mean, I was a bit brilliant before that time. So at home, they knew something was wrong. From this guy that was being first and second and third, latest third. And it started going to like 20-something and 30-something out of 50. But for me, I didn't see anything wrong in it because the only thing that keeps me going back to that school every day was actually because of dance. It was not even because of mathematics or physics or chemistry. I would be in a physics exam. No, physics is not very important. English exam. And somebody will say, Kudus, let's go for rehearsal. It's a rehearsal. It's not even a show. And I would drop that pen. I'll say, I'm done. Then I'll go. That was how dance was. Dance came to me like a trance, like it just took the whole of me. And so when I left high school, I was 16. I knew already that, number one, I'm too young to go to university. Number two, I've lost complete interest in science class. Number three, for me to go do theater art, I have to go back to school to go do arts, literature, and all those boring things I never wanted to do. So I knew from age 16 that my school was not in this country. Our school was not even meant for me. So, but of course, who do you tell that at the age of 16? How do you convince your parents that, you know what, I made my choice? So I got a lot of beating each time they hear dance. Like, even if I'm sitting down here, I'm not even dancing. If they just hear dance, like, you this boy, you know, hear what? So I got a lot of beating. My brother was so mean to me. Then I started hiding. I make them realize that I've stopped dancing. But of course, I've not stopped dancing. Then I told them, you know what? Because after my high school, I didn't make my English. Yeah, I think only English. But for them, they couldn't understand because they know that I can't do it. Then that was a saving grace for me. That was what I used to now tell them, you know what? So I'll have to start going to lessons, jam lessons, so that I can make my papers and, do external whatever. But for me, that was just an escape for me to leave house because I wasn't going to any lesson. I was going to dance. And I would get back home every evening pretending I was coming from a lesson. I wasn't going to any lesson. Then I started looking for ways to survive, to still be cunning and, but without going into any conflict because I saw my elder brother got into a lot of troubles with my family. He was a very good footballer. He was very, very good. Like, it was so good, I would jump fence from my school to go watch him play in the school. That was how good he was. But I saw the pressure and I saw to the point of my mom actually arrested my brother. He was in prison for like a few days. Simply because they want to make him stop playing football. So I didn't want that for myself. So I kept telling them that, you know what, I do everything you want me to do. But I was looking for other ways, more clever way, I guess. So at the age of 17, I got this job at the Lagos State Council for Arts and Culture. The reason why I got that job was because this was a period when I was getting a lot of pressure at home to stop dancing. And a year before that, in SS3, in Surulere, we had something called the Surulere Theatrical Troupe, where they bring all the secondary schools in Surulere to come together to form a troupe, all the cultural and dramatic clubs. And out of all the over 70-something or 80-something dancers, I was given the best dancer. In the industry today, there are few people who are still around from that set. Justin, I don't know if you know Justin Ezeri. I don't know if you know Michael Ejikoye. So out of 80 people, you can already imagine, there are just 4 around now. And out of all those numbers, I was given the best dancer. So I was feeling so much ashamed the next time I saw them to tell them I've stopped dancing. So, but at that time, everybody was like, oh, what troupe are you now? What troupe are you dancing for now? Where are you now? What are you doing? But dance-wise, not like, what school are you now? No, we didn't care about that. But I didn't want to tell them I've stopped dancing. So I said, I'm still looking around. I'm thinking maybe Gong Beat or Black Marbles or whatever. But of course, I knew that I was just bluffing them. Then Kingsley told me that, there's an audition, however, at the Art Council tomorrow. Maybe you can come. That might be a cool one. I didn't want to tell him. I was like, okay, you know what? Me, it's just for one day. Let me just go. Then at that audition, there were over 100 people. Some of these people, I've watched them at NCAC. I've copied dance from them. Some of these people had come to my school to teach us dance. I was like, of course, there's no way I'm going to be selected here. Let me just have fun. Then out of the 100 and something people, they pre-selected 7. And I was the youngest, and I was the smallest. And I was one of the 7. I was like, wow, no way. Please don't select me. Then when the final list came out, they chose one guy and one girl, and I was the guy. And I was like, oh my goodness. So it was success, but at the same time, I was like, I know the repercussion of that. So after 7 months at the Art Council was like a well sought after job at that time. But I didn't even know about it. I didn't have any idea what it was. I just discovered it after I was selected. So I didn't have any ambition for collecting salaries. They were paying 5,000 naira at that time. Like 17 years ago. 5,000 naira for me at that time. My mom was still feeding me. My father was still giving me transport fare. They were buying my clothes. If I buy a shoe to into that house, they were asking, where did you get this shoe from? That was the kind of family I came from. So for me, it was already like, what do I even do with this 5,000 naira anyway? Then before the month runs out, we will go and dance for Tinubu. Tinubu will give us 100,000 naira. We will share 10,000. This one, I was like, so much money. So quickly, I knew that this is very dangerous for me. So 7 months into that space, I left. I didn't even resign. I just left. For you to know how grand that is, some of the people I left there at 2001, they're still there now. So for you to know how that heroic that act of living at council is, I knew that wasn't for me. I wanted something more, something bigger than that. So I left there and I started looking for ideas and looking for knowledge everywhere. And I was constantly present at the French Cultural Center at that time on Kingsway Road. French Cultural Center, one of the reasons why I was present there every time was because they had a media library, which there was nothing like that anywhere else. That is to say, you go to a space where you watch videos, you read books, you can dream, you can project, you have a better idea of what dance is elsewhere. Because for me at that time, this space was really below what I was imagining. At the age of 8, I heard Fela's music, and I knew that Fela, if I was going to say I'm going to be an artist, Fela was, for me, the parameters. But Fela was a musician. I'm a dancer. So I was already looking for original ways of how can I still make as much impact without being a musician, without stopping to believe in dance. So that for me was the push and the pull every time. Each time I got to a space where people start to say, wow, you are this, you are that, I actually leave that space because that's not what I wanted. So at the age of 20, 2004, I got in contact with a guy called Hedi Malem, who came for a workshop at the French Cultural Center. After the workshop, okay, the journey is a bit long. At the age of 17, a guy came from Ibadan. His name is Abdul. But the thing is that a year before that, many people went for a workshop anchored by Ijodi, 2000. But I don't know what deal Ijodi had with the French Cultural Center. They were paying dancers 4,000 naira per day. Like, that was a lot of money, even now, talk less of 17 years ago. So dancers came mostly because of that money. But me, I didn't really need it. But I went, I was selected. Then the following year, this guy was coming from Ibadan. I don't know whatever deal he had with them, they were not going to pay anything. So many dancers came the first day. Then from the second day, everybody disappeared. I can remember very clearly. It was just like me and 5 other people that kept coming. I was not only coming for the workshop. After the workshop, I will hang out with them until 8 p.m. before I go home. They didn't understand it. They were like, who is this guy? I mean, normally we're not even paying you and you are just here, But for me, the hunger I had was what they brought. The food I was looking for was what they brought. So I wanted to get everything from them I can get. Then on the final day of the presentation of the workshop, they had a show. And I came for that show. My friend that came with me, he had the transport fare. I didn't have transport fare. And he was like, oh, it's already late. It's 8 o'clock. I have to go. I said, I can't go until I see these people after the show. Then he was like, he left. But of course, I knew I was broke. I knew I didn't have any money on me. But at the end of it all, I saw them and I was like, bros, is it possible I kind of hang out with you guys in your hotel? I didn't want to tell them I don't have money to give me money to go home. Of course, I know that beating was waiting for me at home anyway at 9 p.m. So instead of beating of 9 p.m., why not go push it to tomorrow, to the next day? So like that, I'll get the full beating. So I hung out with them again. I slept with them. And the following day, I remember going to see Abdul. And he was so shocked and he was like, you know what? I've been coming to Lagos. I've never seen anybody like you. You know what? I'm going to call you for a job. And I'm not talking about 7-Up job or I'm going to call you for something big, but just keep dancing. Then he gave me 5,000 naira without asking. So I was like, wow, I didn't even ask. So I go home that day. Of course, I got flogged and all of that. That's not a problem. Then in November that same year, that was January. In November that same year, Abdul came back. And that was my first international gig. we went to Madagascar with a piece that he made me replace somebody in the piece. And when I got to Madagascar, it was like the World Cup for African dancers. I had dancers from everywhere in Africa. I was the youngest again, but that opened my mind in a very, very amazing way. I knew already from that point that, okay, this is it. I cannot go back to Lagos to become the same person anymore. So I was aiming very, very high. That was 2001. 2002, we went to Croatia. 2003, we went to Germany and the UK. So that was how I started having this international exposure. And that was where French Cultural Center now became very important for me to feed myself with what people were doing from other parts of the world. Then when I was 20, Eddie came. Eddie selected me as one of his dancers in his company. Then I was doing go and come back, go come between France and Nigeria. 2006, I stopped all of that. Of course, I was making a lot of money again. I stopped all of that to go to school. I went to school 2006 to 2009. 2009, I decided to come back, just like he said, coming back, coming to change the world. We have great ideas. We are done now. We are ready now. But Lagos spotted me back to France like 5 months later. That was how fast. I remember I didn't even have a transport fare to go back. I had to use my frequent flyer card to buy a one-way trip. Like no coming back.
Good evening. All right. My name is Theo Lawson. I'm an architect. I studied architecture in London and came back in 1985 thinking I could change the world. No, I mean, we all do. When at that age, you come back and think, oh, you got all these great ideas for how to change the country and how things were not, how you could write everything. Essentially, I grew up essentially as an ideas person. Growing up as an artist, I drew. I did a lot of drawings and paintings. And initially, I was supposed to I wanted to become an artist. Until my brother said, "You won't become poor man. You want to grow up a poor man." He thought there was no money in fine arts, and encouraged me to do architecture, which I initially thought was a maths based, but it had to be more scientific or maths based. But I was blessed, or I was fortunate to attend a school in London that had an arts background or arts basis to architectural research. And so coming back in '85, I moved to Jos because I felt Lagos was too congested, too fast. I wanted a slow, easy life. And just posed this beautiful place where young people could recreate the ideal world. Abuja was already corrupt. I didn't think Abuja was the place I wanted to be at. And I wanted to encourage all the young people to come to Jos and build this new ideal nation, which would be the future Nigeria. Unfortunately, the politicians in Jos did not take kindly to foreigners coming to come and try to correct or thinking that they knew better than them. So you could work there, but you're not getting any jobs from there. So all my projects were coming from Lagos. So I spent all the time traveling from Jos to Lagos to get jobs, and most of my profit was going in transportation. So 5 years after, I decided to move back to Lagos and went into design and build. Shortly after that, a friend of mine, or two friends of mine, invited me to design a stage set for a fashion show. This was in 1991. So the venue was a co-hotel. And prior to that, all the people building stage sets had essentially used flats, plywood flats, background, painted flats. And I thought I wanted to use lights. I wanted to play with lights. So I did structures that used fabric. I used fabric wrapped structures, which I lit from the back. So it was like very luminous set. And this was very well received. At that time, I worked with Professor Droni, who provided lighting and sound. Subsequent to that, I got another friend asked me to design a stage set for Pear's Baby of the Year launch. He was into balloons, so I designed a set that used balloons to unveil the product. So I found there was I found an inroad into stage sets, more the commercial side, where we're launching products using stage sets as product launch vehicles. We launched the first time was a Legend Extra Stout came in. Was an interesting design because we dropped a large 8-foot bottle from the ceiling of National Theatre onto a revolving platform. We had these guys who were muscle guys who received the bottle, placed on the platform properly. We had pyrotechnics, explosions. And essentially that was the first time people had seen a launch like that. Something very exciting, a product launch that was really pushing the boundary. And the bottle landed and started revolving, and lots of special lights and smoke effects. So from then on in, Total Consult evolved as a major stage sets company. We did work for almost every single company in Lagos, corporate, all the multinationals, and name one company, we worked for them, MTN, First Bank, all the banks. So as at 1998, we were probably turning over about 200 million. I employed about 50 staff. And we became quite a big company that was doing stage sets, construction, and architecture. So architecture was the basis for everything, but it took design as the basis, as fundamentals. So from design, you could take on anything. I said we could even build a car if the brief came to us. If somebody said, "Oh, I want to build a car," we'll call an engineer. How do cars work? We'll design it and we'll build it. So we wanted to say that, okay, we came up with a mantra: impossibles we do right away, miracles take a bit longer. So that was how we believed. So we had lots of young architects join us. We employed engineers, we employed carpenters, electricians, welders. So we designed and we built things. So from stage sets, we did exhibition stands. So we built exhibition stands for Toyota, for MTN, and quite a lot of other companies like that for the trade fair stands. Then come 2008, I got this brief to do Freedom Park. Freedom Park had been an idea I had initiated in 1999 with a group of other architects called the CIA, Creative Intelligence Agency. We all got together and wanted to propose ideas for Lagos in the millennium. What should Lagos be in the year 2000 and beyond? Because all over the world, countries were coming up with their own millennium ideas. So each firm, they had about 20 firms, and each firm was to come up with its own idea on what to do to enhance Lagos. Some did traffic control systems, some did advertising, intervention. I wanted to create a park because I felt Lagos was too congested and needed breathing space. I realized that this prison, the old prison, was still vacant. All the buildings were pulled down. And if I didn't do anything, or if we didn't propose anything quickly, it would be another development site for high-rise offices or apartments. So the idea of Freedom Park came about then. Well, it was originally supposed to be a park, but visiting the site, we realized that this was not just a garden. It couldn't just be a garden. It had been a prison for almost 100 years. It was built in 1872 originally and pulled down in 1972. So that's all of 100 years. So in that space of 100 years, this land you're sitting on here, you can imagine the number of people that were incarcerated here and were executed here under the colonial era and some under the new Nigerian government. So it became more of a memorial than just a park. So we started doing our research. We did research. I worked with some students, brought some students from University of Lagos and Yabatech, and we carried out research on the history. We found out that the people like Awolowo had been here, Esther Johnson, Herbert Macaulay, and a lot more that we don't know. But we realized that that was the foundation for the research. And Freedom Park should be a place where people carry on further research into the history of this space itself. Nothing happened when we submitted the drawings in 1999. We submitted all the ideas in the booklets to the Tinubu government at the time. Fast forward 10 years afterwards, I happened to be talking to somebody in passing. I mentioned the idea of Freedom Park. And she said, "Oh, that's a great idea. Do you still have the drawings?" I said, "Oh, I have the synopsis. And yes, I can find the drawings." She asked for the synopsis first. And she called me 2 weeks later and said she had shown it to Fashola. And Fashola wanted to meet with me to discuss the idea further, if I could find the drawings. So I rustled up the drawings from 10 years back, did some new drawings. I went to do a presentation. And then he said, "How soon could I meet with the Executive Council of Lagos?" I said, "You tell me when." He said, "Get your costume together and come back in 2 weeks' time." So 2-3 weeks later, I was meeting with the Executive Council, and Freedom Park was approved. And, well, the rest is history.
One constant thing from each person was that it wasn't easy to get to where you are now. You had to go through certain things. You went through rejection, you went through betrayal and all that, but you did not give up and you kept going. What further can you say to the house? Because one thing that I find, in my short sojourn in dance, one thing that I find with dancers now is that it has to be microwave. You know how it is. Start today, tomorrow, all over the place, and you're hitting it big just like that. How do we get dancers to change this mindset? How do we translate the understanding that there is a process between where you are now and where you are going?
When you're down, what happens? You want to fight the whole world. You want to punch the person who's hurt you. You want to punch the person who has given you like a big trouble and made you fall. You think it's the person's fault when it's actually your fault. Why? Because I believe that we all have a path to take. And that path has to be mixed with trust. And the day you start trusting too much yourself is the day you're heading for failure. And I think my biggest mistake was that when I knew that I had this big door open from a garage to a Banana Island school given to me, to this old building, Lagos Island, where now we have a 3-story building, every time I fell or every time I was upset at someone, the day I wanted to fight back, this is what happened to me. I was stagnant. But the day I fell and I got hurt, and I didn't flee, I stayed put, God opened another door that was bigger. So what happens in the process of wanting to give up, you've got to wait, you have to be patient. And then something else will come your way that will be amazing. So sometimes fighting back can be in the detriment of yourself and your conscience. Waiting that maybe this was not the right thing for you, and you revisit yourself. That's the way I see it. And that is why my biggest hope is when I fail. Because I know something bigger is coming. Until today, I'm still studying performing art management. Every time there's a certificate, I've got to get it so I can learn how to teach somebody else. Same thing is dance, same thing. I'm not an achieved dancer because I had to start from scratch from the time I did ballet to start again to help kids and to help people. So every day there is a dance class or a workshop with, somebody that I know that is related to my gift, which is not African dance. I'm telling you right now. Then if there is a workshop, I will take it. And I will be with beginners. I have no fear of that. So humbling yourself and trying to make it in that field is very important.
Well, I think what's most important is to continue to believe in yourself. And if it's a passion you truly love, something you truly love or something you're passionate about, you really need to believe and pray, really, because the times you've been down and you really think it's the end of your life, but you look back after, it could be a few weeks, could be a few months, could be years, but that time when you're down and you pray, you pray to God and just ask for, and you look back and you know that prayers do get answered. But most important thing is to keep your faith, keep faith in what you believe in and your passion.
I think the number one thing is, of course, not number one. One other thing that we need to always constantly tell ourselves is that success is relative. I think one of the greatest luck I had when I was making all these decisions in my life is that I have elders who kept talking to me every time. My elder sister is a very big hero in my life. And I remember that when I was young, our tenant is a lawyer, my father's tenant. And one day we were having conversation and he said something about, always dream big. He said, because the thing is that even if you dream small, you're never going to achieve it all. But when you dream big, if you achieve 20% of it, it's already bigger than small. And that's what I want to give to my kids, there's nothing you cannot do. There's nothing. But everything has a step, one step at a time. There's one step at a time. Of course, when I was coming back to Nigeria, even this second time, I have bigger dreams. But of course, when I got here, I knew I had to go one step at a time. And for me, so if you already place your success in 5, you can get there in 1 year. But when you get there, you not realize how small that success is. But if you place that 5 million, you can't get there in 20 years. So for me, I think the idea of success is a very relative term. I don't think I'm successful yet. I don't think so. So, and if I say I don't think so, that means you should know that the journey is still very far. So let us always have the hope that we've come here, all of us, we've come here to fulfill something very, very personal, specific, that is only between you and your maker. That should be your focus. It's not success.
Everybody had to learn and relearn. And you also mentioned that if you had to learn with beginners, you don't mind because you are after that knowledge that you're going to get that's going to take you to the next step. How do we get Nigerian dancers to get to the point where we actually realize that knowledge is power and that we need to actually go after knowledge so that we can be better? I was telling Q when he came in that we had some people dancing outside while the session was going on, and I asked someone to go tell them that, guy, he said, we know it's happening, but we are here to dance. We are not here to learn right now. So it's a big deal for me, So I just want to know is there a way out of this? Is there something that needs to be done? Mr. Lawson is familiar with all this. You see people around here every day. Sarah runs a school, so you are aware of this. Kudus, you have seen a lot of it. Case in point, my own trade, production and co. I study, I relearn. If I hear about a program that's going on somewhere, I want to be part of it, just so that I can increase my knowledge. I'm buying books every day. How do we get dancers to move from the point of, I just want to dance, to actually wanting to learn, not just how to dance, to learning about the craft, to understanding how to better deal?
Like I said, I've been in this industry since I was 13. So there's very few people in this industry that I don't know something about when they started, how they started. I am just 33 and I have 20 years experience in this industry. This is not new. You remember 2000 workshop. They all ran for the workshop. Then they realized that Abdul was not paying. Second day, nobody came. These are the same people that are talking to you today and telling you what is the importance of coming for workshop. I don't know if you understand what I'm telling you now. So for me, there's nothing new. But I want them to pay them to come. That's why they didn't come. Don't you get it? People, everybody will be here now. So I think there is a level of poverty and desperation that's always been plaguing this industry, and is still plaguing this industry. Really, if you ask me what to do about it, I don't know. Because nothing we will say from now till thy kingdom come, it won't change until maybe probably there is a better lifestyle, there's better livelihood for people. Because, I built my company, I built my career in France. I'm lucky. You know what that means? That means I could work with people when I had nothing. I could work with people simply because they like my vision. Because what to eat, how to get there is already settled. What to eat, how to get there is already settled. Until we get to that kind of level, I don't think there's any easy solution. But unfortunately, that is said, what people don't realize is that it is usually in history even, it is all those people who are running after money. They are the ones who never get it. Those who are running after values, they didn't even know what they were running after until the first pay comes. Like, whoa, is that how much you say you're going to pay me for dancing? So for me, I think where few things are happening, don't be despair. You don't know if maybe the impact all of this is going to have is going to be on this one girl in the next 10 years. So for me, I'm never bothered really about people not following or whatever. Keep doing, keep pushing it out there. Somebody is being impacted.
What's your contribution? What do you think you're contributing to society, or is it just for yourself? If you dance for yourself because that's what you enjoy doing or you want to do, or is it because that's the only thing you can do to earn a living? If it's just to earn a living, I don't think that's the reason why you should be in dance. You have to first of all think of what contribution you're bringing to the larger society and enjoy that contribution first. And with that, the rewards will come. But if you go in with the impression that, well, this is the only way, I'm doing this so I can earn livelihood, you probably would get one or two jobs. And that would be it, because it's just for the money and you're not pushing your talent. So you really need to understand why you're into dance in the first place. And what does society need from you? And what are you contributing to society?
I'll give two lives examples. Two people arrive at the same time in my garage in 21 Gerard Road. One was trekking with no money, was sleeping beside a church. And his family had denounced him because what he was doing, they didn't believe in him. And he was hiding with the pastor in his church, where, in the same place as the other guy, where did they do the festival? Festac. And they were both trekking. One, I paid transport, and the other one I didn't. Why? Because the first one said that he will not come and train if he doesn't get transport to come and train. And I was training him for free. That person was receiving every time 2,000 naira to come, and I was feeding him. The other person came, didn't say a word, and came every time, and he was not at all asking anything. We just fed him. I remember I was with Folake, and Folake said, they are hungry, we need to feed them. So we fed them. So then, half of the group got transport and were fed. And that person, we always forgotten him. Today, that person is my head of dance. His name is Ikem Hoya. Today, that person is married. He's very successful. And every time he comes to me, he doesn't say anything. And I know that when he's in need, he's in need. The other people, I have not heard of them in the last 3 years. They were famous at one point in time, then they vanished. I will not release their name. But I don't see them in the dance scene again. So what he's saying is 100% true. Those are the guys that were fed, transported, have vanished. Ikem is still there, impacting lots of lives, and he suffered to get through. If you don't suffer, I am sorry. It's going to be a hard journey.
This is Wajo. My experience tonight is beautiful.